Hello and a very warm welcome to yet another fascinating edition of the program CSE Weekly, a weekly program that keeps you abreast on the activities and achievements of the Corporate Affairs Commission. My name is Rashid Mahi. Coming up, RGCSE helps on formalization of businesses at third MSME clinic in Ekiti. RGCSE gets a pat on the back from Bauchi APC stalwarts. Plus, we take a look at the role of a insolvency practitioner. We will be right back. Welcome back. We begin with a solidarity visit to the Registrar General from some select APC chieftains. The Registrar General of the Corporate Affairs Commission, CSE, Hussein Ishaq Magaji, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, has been applauded for exhibiting a high sense of leadership and commitment since his assumption of office. The former chairman of the All Progressive Congress, APC, Bauchi chapter, and senatorial candidate for Bauchi Central Senatorial District, Honorable Ubanana, stated this during a congratulatory visit to the Registrar General in his office. Ubanana, who was in company of former aspirants from the state, said the party was proud of his leadership, commitment, and dedication to service of the nation in accordance with his mandate. He therefore enjoined him to sustain the tempo, adding that the leadership of the party was always available to offer useful advice to enable him succeed in the important national assignment in line with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. Responding, the Registrar General Hussein Ishaq Magaji, SAN, thanked them for the visit and pledged to rededicate himself to service in accordance with his mandate. The CSE boss further stated that his doors were always open for meaningful contributions and suggestions that would help him achieve his mission of overturning the fortunes of the Commission and promoting economic growth and development of the country. From Abuja, we move to Ekiti, Ado Ekiti. The federal government has commissioned a world-class ultra-modern fashion and garment hub at the Odua Textile Complex, Basiri, Ado Ekiti, Ekiti State. The Registrar General of the Corporate Affairs Commission, Hussein Ishaq Magaji, SAN, was among several dignitaries that joined Vice President Kashim Shettima to declare open the third expanded MSME clinic and commission the garment hub. In his address, Vice President Kashim Shettima said the hub competes favorably with its global peers and has the potential of creating 48,000 jobs annually. Kashim Shettima revealed that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the establishment of a modern ICT facility in the state, which will be completed and commissioned within 90 days. BP Shettima further revealed that the President had also approved an outright grant of 150,000 naira to each of the outstanding MSMEs to boost their businesses without necessarily repaying them. Shettima disclosed that similar clinics will be launched in Borno and Enugu states before the National MSME Awards scheduled to hold in Abuja on 27th June 2024 to commemorate World MSME Day. The Vice President used the forum to applaud CSE's performance and all other partner agencies and emphasized the need for more collaboration and partnerships amongst agencies of government to ensure the growth and survival of MSMEs. In his remarks, the Registrar General of the CSE, Hussein Ishaq Magaji, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, represented by the officer in charge of the Intergovernmental Section, Muhammad Habib, described the event as an opportunity for the informal businesses to have their businesses registered with the Commission. He therefore appealed to registered businesses to always pay their annual returns as at when due to enable them to benefit from the federal government support and interventions. And in another development, the CSE pavilion at the event attracted huge attention from hundreds of customers who trooped in to register their POS businesses in compliance with the deadline of July 7, 2024, earlier issued by the Commission. CSE officials were on hand to offer valuable guidance and support to the customers who turned out in their numbers ready to formalize their businesses to ensure sustainable growth and development of the MFC sector. CSE Weekly reports that high point of the event included the inspection of the Adire Ekiti Hub, a pet project of the First Lady of Ekiti State, Dr. Olayemi Oyebanji, by the Vice President in company of Governor Biodun Ayobanji of Ekiti State. Still talking formalization of businesses, we moved to Abuja. In line with his commitment to economic revival in November 2023, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu pledged to target the creation of 50 million jobs in fulfillment of his campaign promises. Acting in accordance with the President's commitment, the CSE recently actively participated in the Skill Acquisition Entrepreneurship Development SAED program of the National Youth Service Corps NYSC at its camp in Kubwa, Abuja. The CSE boss, Hussaini Ishaq Magaji, SAN, dispatched a special team to the camp headed by Mutau Bello, Assistant Director and Head of FCT Zone 5 Office, to undertake on-the-spot registration to the admiration of Corps members.
Wani document ne kake rike da shi da ni? Wannan document ne na CAC da aka mai registration a nan yanzu. Okay, ya sunan da aka yi maka registration? Okay, kamar wani time ne, wani lokaci ne ya dauka har aka fara aka gama wannan registration? Gaskiya na zo dai tsakanin awa 1 zuwa awa 1 da rabi na samu wannan certificate ne. Alhamdulillah, congratulations. What's your name, madam?
Mrs. Olurin Rebecca Adesola.
Okay. You are holding some documents. What are these documents?
It's concerning the CAC registration, business registration certificate.
So it was done today for you?
Yes, sir.
So how do you feel?
I'm very happy because I think a lot of people have spent a lot of money. Even I don't know how to put it. They have spent money, they have spent time to even have it, and they could not get it. But in 1 hour or less than 1 hour, I get my own.
Similarly, the Mutau Bello-led team was recently at the Area 1 shopping center to carry out sensitization and registration of businesses. Shoemakers and tailors, amongst others, benefited from the exercise. The team had earlier visited the Day-Day International Building Materials Market, Timber Market, Zone 5 Building Materials Market, and the Abuja GSM Village Market, amongst others. From Abuja, we move to Jos, the Plateau State capital, where the head of CSE office, Ibrahim Gasol, took the sensitization drive to the Federal College of Forestry, Jos. The school management, under the leadership of Provost Professor Chomini Stephen, pledged to collaborate with the CSE to ensure that its graduates register businesses as part of the school's entrepreneurship development initiative. Ibrahim Gasol also led a delegation to the Plateau State Ministry of Commerce and Industry under the leadership of Commissioner Musa H. Sule. The meeting was fruitful as expected, as the ministry pledged to register over 40,000 business names for micro, small and medium enterprises, MSMEs, in the state before the end of the year 2024. The hard-working Ibrahim Gasol team had also paid similar visit to the Plateau State Estate Agents and Landlords Association and the executive of Plateau Rice Millers Association, amongst others. From Plateau, we move to the Confluence State, where the CSE Lokoja office, led by Atebije Godwin, met with market women leaders in Lokoja to sensitize them on the need to formalize their businesses along with other members. The team also met with the president and officials of the Kogi State Association of GSM Sales and Repairs, who pledged to register their businesses as well as update the annual returns of registered businesses. The chairman of Kogi Spare Parts Dealers Association also played host to the active Kogi sensitization and enforcement team. And from Lokoja, we head to Abakaliki, the Ebonyi state capital, where the CSE team commenced sensitization with visits to 2 major markets in Abakaliki, prominent among them, the Abakaliki International Market. The head of the office, Ujuobi, as an assistant director, and her team also visited Abakaliki Mechanic Village and Alpha Akpa Market. The team met with 5 different market lot chairmen who promised to mobilize their members for massive registration. The Lot 1 chairman highlighted some of the challenges they encountered during their attempts to register, but the team assured them of the Commission's commitment to ensuring hitch-free registration. CSE Weekly reports that at the end of the sensitization campaigns, the market leaders assured their support and cooperation to actualize CSE Registrar General's dream to formalize unregistered businesses for the benefit of the economy. Now moving on to CAMA 2020, alias the Game Changer. The CAMA 2020 provides that an insolvency practitioner can simply be described as anyone who acts in any of the following capacities. 1. The liquidator, provisional liquidator, or official receiver, or administrator receiver, or receiver and manager, or as nominee or supervisor of the company's voluntary arrangement. Section 705 of the CAMA 2020 spoke about insolvency practitioner and qualifications, amongst others. Alright, let's now go to our interview segment and join Justin Nida Biraul, CSE's Director of Compliance, to talk more about insolvency practice. Sit back, relax, and enjoy watching.
Mr. Nidia Justin Biraul, Director of Compliance, many thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, today we are looking at the insolvency practitioner, popularly known as the IPs, if I'm correct. But before, I'm understanding now that there's a general definition and the legal definition. So let's start from the legal definition, the one that has a technical part, before we go to the general that every other person can understand.
Okay, from perspective of the law, you know, the concept generally came with the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, and what the Act did was to provide a definition for an insolvency practitioner. Under that definition, we tried to restrict it to either a legal practitioner or a chartered accountant that has been authorized or licensed by the Commission to practice as an insolvency practitioner. Then apart from that, it also went ahead to recognize members of what is called Business Rescue and Insolvency Practitioners Association of Nigeria as automatic members that are entitled to be licensed as insolvency practitioners. For the other category, the two, that's for lawyers and chartered accountants, apart from primary qualification as a lawyer, you are also required to demonstrate an experience of a minimum period of 5 years as an insolvency practitioner before you are issued a license.
Why does it take that long, 5 years? So even if I'm a lawyer, I cannot practice straight ahead. I have to undergo another 5 years.
Yes, that is done deliberately because the insolvency practice is considered as a very technical and very difficult area of practice.
So which institution provides this training now?
Usually, you go either firms of chartered accountants that have been involved in practice as insolvency practitioners, or also lawyers that are experienced in that practice. They usually provide tutelage.
Okay.
Yes, for those that are not so vast experienced.
And it has to be 5 years?
That the law prescribes a minimum period of 5 years.
But I can do shortcut?
Not at all.
Okay, all right. Okay, so let's go to the general definition, the one the everyday Nigerian can connect with.
Well, the general definition looks at the insolvency practitioner as a person that is licensed and authorized to help an individual, a partnership or a company to come out of insolvency. Insolvency in this sense is regarded as financial distress. So what it means is that an insolvency practitioner is somebody that helps an individual or a corporate body to come out of financial distress.
Okay, so he's a rescuer. He's a financial rescuer of some sort.
Yes, of some sort.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. But what is the thinking behind this concept of the IPs?
Well, the thinking is that over time, it was observed that most of the traditional method of insolvency mostly ended up in killing the company or liquidation of the company. So it was thought that this is not good, because when a company dies or is liquidated, it comes with its own dislocations. Employees are fired, directors lose their job, the economy also loses production.
And income.
And income in form of tax. So the death of a company actually sounds a bad omen for the society generally. So that's why there was a new thinking that instead of allowing the company to die, effort should always be made to restructure the company and see if it can be brought back to life. Yes.
Okay, so let's move to the responsibilities. We have both the primary and the secondary, the responsibilities of the IPS, the insolvency practitioners. But let's start from the primary. What are their primary responsibilities?
The primary responsibility is usually that the insolvency practitioner is required as much as possible to try his possible best to see that he will restructure the company in order to bring it back to life. Like we said, to avoid dislocation in the society and to bring value to the society so that we minimize the loss that will naturally go to all employees, directors, and the economy as a whole. So his primary responsibility will be first to try to rescue the company. It's only when that fails that you now activate what is called the secondary duty, which is to liquidate.
Okay, sir, but before we move to the secondary,
Yeah.
what are the primary factors that prevent him or her, the insolvency practitioner, from rescuing a company? What are some of the factors?
Well, usually in practice, a distinction is drawn between what is called technical insolvency and bankruptcy in general terms.
Okay.
When you look at technical insolvency, you are looking at primarily the cash flow.
Yes.
The cash flow of the company. So it is expected that the cash flow of the company will be sufficient to pay operational debts of the company. That's debts that accrue on day-to-day basis.
Okay.
But for what is considered as total bankruptcy now, when total assets of the company is not enough to meet total liability, so it's usually become very difficult for an insolvency practitioner to wriggle his way out of such situations.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's when the secondary is activated.
That's when the secondary duty is activated.
Okay, so what is now the next stage? That's the secondary now.
The secondary,
So,
the secondary responsibility will be now to try to wind up the company. And in doing so, he has to also consider the interests of all stakeholders, not necessarily those that have lent the company money. So you look at the interests of employees, you look at the interests of government or state, you look at the interests of suppliers and customers. So it's a holistic thing that you have to look and consider everybody's interest in the liquidation.
Okay, I'm talking about the regulatory agencies. We've just heard that of Heritage Bank that has just been withdrawn. And, you know, even though the CBN is assuring that, you know, people's deposit are safe and they'll get their money, there's a lot of apprehension, you know, outside. And it has further decreased or reduced the confidence people have in the financial system. But my question is, where are these regulatory bodies before a company or an institution becomes totally bankrupt beyond rescue? Is that not an indictment? Sorry.
Well, for the financial sector, there are a lot of laws and regulations that governs how these institutions are run. And the one that easily come to mind is the Central Bank and the NDIC. So they normally visit these companies either in routine or what is called special investigation. Yes. So, but like any other sector, it is not conceivable that at any point you will prevent a company from going down. It's just the practice that in every other situation there is the possibility that a company would go down.
But there will be a red flag, isn't it? A sort of red flag.
There are normally red flags. Those red flags in all situations are managed for some times.
Okay.
It's only when it is not possible to manage it any further that we will now consider the drastic action like revoking a license.
Okay, all right. So let's go. I also want to take it on the other part. We are in a political dispensation where rivalry, you know, and sometimes if you don't belong to rivalry, of course, and I don't like your face, you don't belong to my party, or you have offended me somewhere, and because I have the political power now, I can just destroy your company.
No, that hardly happens in practice.
Okay.
Because that will be an arbitrary decision, isn't it? And for a regulator...
But I can plant moles into your company.
The moles will be identified.
But it might be too late if we don't have a proper checks and balance.
Well, as it is, it is assumed that the regulators will do their duties diligently without looking at any political undertones. In as much as it is recognized that the CEOs of the agencies are appointed by the government, but there are rules and regulations that are prescribed before a decision is taken that affects a business generally.
Okay.
And it is assumed that the institutions with their CEOs will always look at underlining rules and regulations and will not act arbitrarily.
Okay. So when do these IPs begin to work? Is it that when there's a total, outburst or a total collapse? Is that when they come in?
No, basically, like we said before, their primary responsibility now.
Now, what I'm saying is that when is the door opened to them? Because they cannot just walk into a company and say, I want to check your files, or do they do that from time to time?
No, they can come in several ways. The directors can
when do they intervene? That's my question. When do they really intervene?
Well, the point they are supposed to intervene actually is when we have what is called technical solvency.
Mr. Dindia Justin Bra, I think it's a fine place to leave it. Many thanks for your time indeed, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for that beautiful insight, Mr. Nidia. Now, do you know that by the provision of Section 421, subsection 1 of the CAMA 2020, the annual return of a company limited by shares or guarantee or unlimited shall be completed, signed and delivered to the Corporate Affairs Commission not later than 42 days after the annual general meeting for their. So have you updated your records with the CAC? Well done if you have. And you have yet to do that, please hurry now to www.csc.gov.ng to file your return to avoid being struck off. The CSC remains committed to working hard to provide prompt and efficient service to customers in line with global best practices. And that does it for this week's edition of the program CSC Weekly. We hope you enjoyed watching. For comments and inquiries, please please take advantage of our social media handles and helpline. On Instagram, it's Corporate Affairs Commission. On Facebook, Corporate Affairs Commission. On X, formerly Twitter, is at CSC Nigeria 1. Our email address is csc@csc.gov.ng. Our website address is www.csc.gov.ng. The call center number is 070-8062-9000. Do join us next week for another interesting edition of the program. Same time, same station. From me, Rashid Mahe, and the whole team, it's bye for now.